Don't try to wing it in the job interview. When we are invited to interview for a job, we don't want to go into that job interview thinking we don't have to prepare ourselves, thinking we don't have to do our research about the company. You want to be prepared, you want to be knowledgeable about the company that you're interviewing with. So we don't want to try to wing it when we go into that job interview. We want to know what it is that we are seeking, the job that we're seeking. We want to know about that company. We want to know what that company has to offer. So one way to prepare yourself for the job interview is to research the company that you're interviewing with. You want to go to their website. You want to go to their social media pages, their Facebook page, their LinkedIn page, whatever type of social media presence they may have. You want to go and look up the company, check it out, see what it is that they offer, their products, their services, what type of business that they do, what type of employees that they have. You want to go to what the website, Glassdoor website, and employees and former employees leave reviews about their experience working for that company. So you want to do your research. You want to know as much about the company as you can before you go into that job interview. You want to be prepared. And another way to prepare is to be ready for those commonly asked interview questions. Like, so tell me about yourself. Tell me what it is that you do. So you want to be prepared. And that goes back to when I talked about in one of my previous videos about figuring out who you are and developing your personal brand. You want to be able to know exactly who you are. You want to be able to articulate your skills and your talents, your abilities, what it is that you're able to do, what value you bring to the company. So yes, you want to be able to let them know who you are, what you can bring to that company, how can you be an asset. So you want to prepare yourself for those commonly interview questions. Another question they may ask you, so tell me, what do you know about the company? That goes back to the first way of researching the company, knowing about the company and knowing what it is that they do and what they offer. So you want to know when they ask you, tell me what you know about the company, you want to be able to tell them something other than the location of the company. You say, well, I know that y'all located in Baton Rouge. Okay, they want to know a little more than that. What else do you know about the company? And then they may ask you, do you have any questions for me? So prepare your own questions. After the interviewer finishes asking what he or she wants to ask you, they may ask you, well, do you have any questions for me? So have your own questions prepared, because it may be something that you wasn't able to figure out by doing your research when you were looking on their website or when you were looking at their social media accounts. You couldn't figure out something specific. So you prepare those questions for the interview as well when you go on the job interview. And another way, because the title of the video is we don't want to try to wing it. So I'm just giving you tips of what you do and what you don't do when you're in the job interview. So we don't want to talk about our former bosses. We don't want to talk about the previous company that we worked for in a negative way anyway. I mean, if you have something good to say, then that's wonderful. But you don't want to go in talking negative about your former coworkers, saying bad stuff about your former boss, even though you may feel some type of way about the job, about the people you work with. That's okay. But you don't go in telling that to your potential new employer. So you don't want to be in there bad mouthing the people that you used to work with or the company you used to work for. You don't want to do that. So that's another way. I'm just giving you a tip on what you do and what you don't do when you're in a job interview. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to talk about your former employer. So again, you don't want to try to wing it in the job interview. You want to do your research, find out as much as you can about that company before you go into the job interview. You want to prepare for those commonly asked questions. So tell me about yourself. So tell me, what do you know about the company? And do you have any questions for me? You want to prepare your own questions for the person that's interviewing you. And you don't want to go in there talking bad about your former company, your former employer, your former coworkers, even though they got on your nerves, even though they were unprofessional, even though there was no room for advancement, you didn't get a raise, they didn't appreciate you, all that stuff. You may be feeling it, but you don't go in talking about that. You don't go telling the person that you're trying to work for, you don't go tell, because they going to look at like, well, if you're talking about them like that, you're going to do the same thing about us. So even if you're feeling it, keep it to yourself. So yeah, you want to be prepared for that job interview. You don't want to go in feeling nervous. You don't want to go in being scared. And you may have those emotions where you're nervous because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know the outcome. But that's okay. But if you prepare yourself, then that would give you that confidence to be able to go in there with your head held high and tell them what it is that you have to say. That's what the interview is. The interview, you go in there to sell yourself, whatever skills, experiences, education, whatever it is that you have that's going to be relevant to the job that you are applying for. And so you don't want to lie on your resume. That's it's kind of off the subject about the job interview, but it's just something I want to throw in there. You don't want to lie on your resume, because when you get in there and if they're looking at your resume, you want to take extra copies of your resume too when you go on a job interview, even though the person that's interviewing you may have a copy in front of you, they may not. So just in case if they don't, you want to bring your own copies as well. But you don't want to lie on your resume, because if they get to looking down your resume and they see something on there that may be relevant to the job that you're applying for, and then they ask you about your experience with this certain position, and you can't tell them because you falsified information. So you don't want to put anything on your resume that isn't true. So again, do not try to wing it when you go into the job interview. Prepare yourself, okay? I am Cynthia Young with Source Solutions Career Coaching, and I help people to identify and take action on their career goals. If career coaching is something that you may need, you can contact me. Visit my website, allthingscynthiayoung.com. Thank you. Y'all take care. And until next time, be blessed.